Hey everyone, JCS StarCraft here, bringing you Game 2 of the semifinals for the Go4SC2 number 32 Weekly Cup between Morrow and Naama. Action getting started here on Steps of War. Morrow going to be spawning as the teal Terran in the bottom left corner, and Naama going to be spawning as the yellow Terran in the top right corner. Naama was the Go4SC2 number 31 winner just this past Sunday. Meanwhile, Morrow was... he was something happened right there, and I'm not exactly sure what that 50 pop ahead. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna be moving on because I'm not able to decipher that quite as well. But Morrow was, while Naama was winning the Go4SC32 number 31, Morrow meanwhile was taking down Hydra, and so stuff going on and friendly chat between the two. Not Naama, I don't think, very happy with his play back there. Unfortunately, he did run his units very uncharacteristically into tank fire and just lost like almost all his tanks. I think the last game would have lasted a good deal longer because both players were very well established, but a slight misstep for Naama right there. And Naama, unfortunately, if I actually had to watch the quarterfinal games, which I might broadcast, but kind of got a little bit of into some colorful language with Tarson. I'm not entirely sure what Tarson said in the comment room, but something happened somewhere, and Naama wasn't very, very happy, and kind of had in the second game just kind of almost told Tarson that while he very much respected him as a player, kind of lost that respect because of some sort of interaction. So, you know, Naama might be a little bit emotionally charged right now coming to this game and not necessarily playing at his best. Absolutely needs to against Morrow, who, you know, is the first StarCraft 2 champion. Morrow bouncing back from, like, not even bouncing back, but just following up with his championship very strongly in this Go4SC2 number 32. This is the semifinals, and he is up 1-0, so running ahead, and this SCV barely in there in time. Is it going to get out? And yes, it can, as it does outrun that Marine. The Marines have a lot of heavy armor, and therefore need to move a little bit slower than the SCV, although the SCV is carrying a drill, multiple drills in fact, and so you think that they might be a little bit slower, but might have some sort of cool rolly thing. I actually don't know. I'm looking at them right now. They have wheels, and that might be why they're faster, because Marines have to run with their little legs in that really heavy armor as well. So anyways, just a little bit of talk going on as not much action is going on here on the map. Tech lag is down, and Reaper going up for Naama. Naama favoring that kind of later Reaper for scouting purposes, so he doesn't have to throw down a scan. Other players, I think QXC enjoys to use his second round of 50 mana for a scan, so he can see what his opponent is up to. Especially in Terran versus Terran. Naama favoring to use 50 minerals and 50 gas to accomplish the same thing, possibly get some early harass in, and maybe pick off possibly 1 or 2 SCVs to help justify the cost of this Reaper a little bit. But now Reaper is coming in and able to scout out his opponent. Morrow has strategically placed his buildings in random spots, and is this yes, it does get off 2 kills, 3 kills, so this Reaper definitely is paying off for itself. And 4 kills from Naama, so great job scouting as well as able to get that early harassing, catching Morrow a little bit off guard there. Morrow going to be going out with 2 racks as well, not going to be getting that factory, and I think Naama now slightly confused as what is going on, as he wasn't able to scout that out. Did see the gas there, and did see, I think, the tech lab go down, but wasn't able to see much more. In fact, didn't even see the barracks. So great placement by Morrow, able to avoid any sort of detection. And Morrow right now looks like he might be going for some sort of all-in push with his units at this point. He does have that second rack and has been pumping out the entire time. Naama, I'm not sure if he detected that, but looks like he got a sense of that somewhere. Might have had one of his scouting units being taken down, and so going to try to reinforce right here. Doesn't see anything going on, unfortunately, and these units are about to move in, and here they come. Was sending that second scout out, already had pulled off the SCVs. If those SCVs had stayed around just for a little bit longer, might have been able to hold things off, but just doesn't have enough units, will be forced to fight with his SCV, and just a great timing attack from Morrow, who I think anticipated that his opponent was going to go with that 1-1-1 yet again, now kiting away at his opponent. Naama does have one Hellion out on the map, but not going to be enough to hold things out, just waiting for that Banshee, desperately waiting for that Banshee to come out, because then it could, pretty much take out the rest of his units. But doing a great job trying to hold off the best that he can, is losing just a little bit too many SCVs at this point, really, to do any sort of damage. And, oh, that Hellion being just, unfortunately, being rallied straight into the fire. Now, wow, Morrow taking out the Tech Lab right away, so no more Banshees unless one was being researched, but it wasn't for Naama, and Morrow just doing a great job with a great timing attack, streaming in more units as well, and kind of hiding here in the corner. So Naama going to go out to retaliate, but not realizing that there are more units still waiting to... Oh, and finally is able to pick that off. Going to be turning around his Banshee, and and more lag in the game, bringing it down. That seems to be a big problem in this entire series, but it looks like Morrow right now is leading really strongly, 19 over 20 over 7 Harvesters, and there is that Banshee, but that Banshee hasn't been able to get out of the base, forced to defend the best that it can. Tech Lab is down again, so he can get more Banshees, but Morrow now retreating happily to his base and going to be setting up his factory, moving and transitioning over to the mid game. A very strong push from him, good timing, good sense of what his opponent was going to do, and very good prediction on his behalf. So now setting up for the retaliation, which is this lone Banshee that doesn't have Cloak. I'm pretty sure he knows that because he took down the Tech Lab right as the first Banshee came up. Even if it did, the missile turret would drive it away, and Naama now, unfortunately, unable to really retaliate and is behind severely in his economy. So this is not... I'm not sure if Naama's going to be able to last too much longer. Morrow just kind of bulking up, using the fact that he is very far ahead economically, and going to be floating that factory all the way over. And here comes that Banshee coming down the backside. So while Naama did have a slight economic advantage in the beginning with the timing of that Reaper, this Banshee falling pretty much right down, and it looks like Morrow gonna be pushing in pretty soon once he's able to get all these Raxes up. Going to be getting a starport for the medevac as well. Naama just going to go ahead and take that gold expansion, knows that his only way back into the game is that he has to take that risk, hope his opponent is going to spend some time macroing up before he pushes in, and hopefully be able to gain back that economy by mining off of the gold right now. Focus strictly on, let's see, looking at the production tab, just trying to pump out Marines, and has a Raven out as well in case his opponent did go with some sort of Banshee retaliation on his behalf. And I think this is, definitely what Naama has to do at this point. He really can't sit in his base and try to one base it anymore because his opponent just is so far ahead of him. And now factory going to be floating in. Morrow does see that Naama doesn't have that many units out on the field and might feel comfortable pushing in at this point. So command center is established for Naama, but I don't think he'll have enough time really here to kind of gain back his ground. Needs at least a good 5 more minutes. And Morrow, I think, does... Oh, and actually even has that Zelnaga watchtower with the Marine there. Has very strong map control and sees that coming. Naama's going to be in a lot of trouble here. No defenses at all for his expansion. Risky maneuver by Naama, a necessary maneuver almost at this point. I'm going to try to take this one up here, but these rocks can fall as well, and that's going to go down before it even has a chance. So looking at the army tab, Morrow's still ahead, 65 to 38, although a chunk of that is the harvester count, are the more SCVs that he has. I don't think this army, looking at the army composition for Morrow, looks like 21 Marines out on the field, and Naama just doesn't really have enough. But Morrow not going to be taking his chances, knows that he's ahead and going to pull ahead even further, has taken out his opponent's expansion, has full sight of what his opponent is up to, and very, very comfortable at this point. I'm just going to still push further ahead, not really going to risk it at this point, and just kind of steamroll over once he has enough units. Naama now knows that he has to retaliate and going to go out for a retaliation. Not going to hold back. He's not going to sit down and try to turtle it out, but really trying to do his best to catch up in the game. And some very smart play, I think, by Naama right here. I think a lot of players might just kind of bunker down and just kind of reestablish themselves, choke off the front like crazy. But they know in the long term that they're going to lose that way because, you know, these... Oh, we're going to get a battle of the medevac drops right now. Marines trying to take it out as soon as possible. Can you micro them to take it down? The medevacs are moving into the base, onto the expansion, but this missile turret is going to do a good amount of damage. Will all the units come out in time? The medevacs will be going down, and just not going to be enough as Morrow reverse dropping on him as well. And it looks like Naama's valiant effort not going to be able to succeed. And Naama right there, you know, knows that he's lost the game, and a very gracious GG by him as well. So great game from both players. Why would the Marines? How did that? That's really cool that they were celebrating right there. That was pretty cool. I haven't seen that before. Now I'm really curious as to, I guess the game was officially ended. So really cool play, and congrats to Morrow for moving on to the finals. I will be catching those games as well. This has been JCS StarCraft, and I'm signing off.